Evan hammered the last nail into the cabin frame. Footsteps echoed his rhythm from the tree line. He froze, mallet raised. The mimicry stopped. Pine sap stuck his gloves. He scanned the shadows between trunks. Nothing moved. Wind picked up. Dark clouds boiled over the ridge. He slung the mallet over his shoulder and dragged the final log into place. Chocks wedged it tight. The frame stood square. Walls up, roof beams lashed. Storm would hit in minutes. He ducked inside the half-built shell. Axe, saw, addies, tools lined the dirt floor. His pulse rifle leaned in the corner. First shelter on this claim. No time for walls yet. Rain lashed the beams. He crouched by the fire pit, flint sparking dry tinder. Flames caught. Heat pushed back the chill. Dawn broke gray. Evan uncoiled wire from his pack. He strung it low through the underbrush, knee-high, bottle caps threaded on as bells. Every 10 meters, a tripcord knot tied to a rock pile. Tug one. Alarms rang. Stones tumbled. He tested the first line. Wire snapped taut. Bells jingled. Stones clattered down the slope. Good enough for now. Back at the cabin, he notched logs for walls. Axe bit clean, each swing precise. By noon, 3 sides rose chest-high. A branch snapped nearby. He straightened. Tools lay stacked by the chopping block, 50 meters out. Broken twigs littered the ground around them. Not wind. Too deliberate. Prints. Mud. Too dry. He gripped the axe. Scanned again. Tree line. Silent. Whatever prowled, it hungered for his gear. Evan hauled the tools inside. Axe, saw, hammers, stacked against the inner wall. He barred the door with a log brace. Rifle stayed slung on his shoulder now. Comm unit buzzed. He thumbed it on. Prospector Hale. Marshal Rusk's voice crackled. Hard. Clipped. Scans picked up movement near your grid. Unidentified signatures. Lockdown. Patrol inbound. Evan eyed the tree line. Copy. Perimeter set. What's the play? Unknowns mean threats. Quarantine your site. We sweep at 1600. No contact. Understood. He killed the line. Rusk chased shadows colony-wide. Frontier rules. Claim first, prove later. But unknowns, they spooked brass. He stirred the stew pot. Rabbit, roots, salt. Steam rose thick. His stomach growled. But the broken branches nagged. Evan ladled half into his bowl. The rest, he carried the full pot to the porch. Set it on the step. Steam curled in the cold air. He stepped back to the doorway, rifle loose in his hands. Watched. Minutes ticked. A rustle. Low, from the thickest brush. Eyes gleamed. Not animal. Too high, too wary, paired with a smaller shadow behind. Evan stayed still. Pot cooled slow. The eyes blinked. Larger one crept forward. Mottled gray skin, elongated limbs. Female? Hard to tell. She snatched the pot's edge. Sniffed. Larger nostrils flared. A whimper sounded. Tiny form huddled at her feet. Child-sized. Ribs showed through thin fur. Shivering, she yanked the pot back. Spilled half fleeing to cover. But she clutched it close. Evan lowered the rifle a fraction. Not bandits. Not beasts. Outsiders. Hurt ones. Comm buzzed again. Hail. Patrol delayed. Stormfront. Hold position. Report contacts. Affirm. He pocketed it. No need to call Rusk yet. These two hid for reason. Night fell. Evan notched more logs. Fire crackled. He chewed jerky. Eyes on the dark. Rustle. Closer. The mother edged into firelight. Pot empty. She clutched a stick. Spear, no tip. Child trailed, limping. Leg bound in rags. Evan set down his knife, pushed a fresh loaf toward the fire's edge. Bread from his last ration pack. She froze. Eyes darted to him. He nodded once. Slow, stayed seated. She crept, snatched the loaf, tore a piece. Fed the child first. Key. That's what she murmured, soft clicks in her throat. Evan watched. Child key devoured it. Color returned to pale cheeks. Mother's shoulders eased a hair. Dawn. Evan felled 2 more pines. Limbs trimmed fast, dragged them to frame the door. Nails driven true. Comm crackled. Hail. Rusk. Movement confirmed your sector. Armed team en route. ETA 2 hours. Shoot unknowns on sight. Copy. Evan glanced at the tree line. Tracks now. Small feet. Dragging. He baited a snare line deeper in. No kill traps. Just alerts. For Rusk's boots. Russell sharpened. Mother. Salen. Her clicks named her. Stepped clear. Child in arms. Closer than yesterday. She pointed at the snare. Question in her stance. Evan nodded. Tapped his ear. Listened. Pointed ridgeward. Patrol hum grew. She clicked alarm. Backed away. Child whimpered. Evan stood. Grabbed spare blanket. Tossed it porchward. She caught it. Wrapped key tight. Patrol engines whined closer. Sciolin vanished. Boots crunched. Marshal Rusk crested the rise. 5 armed colonists flanked him. Scanners swept. Hail. Rusk halted at the bells. They jingled. Contact? Evan leaned on his axe. Signs. Not hostile. Rusk snorted. All unknowns hostile. Tracks? Evan pointed vague. Wildlife. Scanners beeped negative. Rusk scowled. Lock it down. We circle back. They trumped off. Engines faded. Scilen emerged, closer still. She set key down. Child tottered forward. Touched the cabin log. Warm from sun. Evan knelt slow. Offered a water skin. Key sniffed, drank deep. Scilen watched, tension uncoiled in her grip. Evan rose, pointed cabin. Gestured sleep. Safe. She hesitated, clicked soft. Nodded. Key crawled inside first. Curled by the fire pit. Scilen followed. Eyed the brace, the rifle. Sat by her child. Evan barred the door light. Storm clouds gathered again. But inside, trust kindled. He strung one last bell, outside her reach. For tomorrow's threats. Footsteps padded behind him. Keys. Tiny hand tugged his pant leg. Evan looked down. Smiled. Amelie started here. Evan gripped his rifle strap tighter and pushed through the underbrush. Fresh prints scarred the mud. Too deliberate for beasts. Too light for colony folk. He tracked them downhill, boots silent on pine needles. The trail dipped sharp into a ravine. He halted at the lip. Wind sliced his collar. Below, adult prints wove with smaller ones. Child-sized. Barely wider than his thumb. No colony kid wandered this far. He scanned the shadows. Nothing moved. Evan slung his rifle. No threat here. Just need. He noted the path. Narrow ledge. Overhang for cover. Exposed to storms, though, he backed away slow. Returned to his cabin for tools. Axe bit clean into saplings. He felled 3 trimmed branches, dragged them to the ravine by midday. Sweat beaded despite the chill. He wedged poles into cracks, lashed crossbeams with cordage. Woven pine boughs sealed the windward side. A low windbreak took shape, knee-high, snug against the rock. He unpacked his pack. Dried meat strips. Hard biscuits. Cloth scraps from his sewing kit. Soft wool. No snags. A tin of fat for fire starting. He piled it inside, under the overhang. No traps. No bait scent to draw predators. Just offering. Evan stepped back. Tested the frame with a shove. Solid. He etched a mark on the nearest tree. 3 notches. His sign. Anyone could see it meant aid. He shouldered his pack. Headed home as clouds thickened. Dusk bled purple over the ridge. Evan crouched in the tree line. Same spot he'd watched from earlier. Knife loose in his fist. He waited. Prints had freshened since noon. Russell. A shadowed figure slipped from the ravine. Tall. Lean. Cloaked in mottled hides. It darted to the windbreak. Pale hands emerged. Long fingers, 4 per hand. No claws. It snatched biscuits first. Evan rose halfway. Knife gleamed in fading light. The figure froze. Head snapped toward him. Eyes caught starlight. Large, reflective. He lowered the blade. Pointed tip to earth, backed 3 steps. Hands open now. Empty. Food, he said slow. Trade pigeon from colony vids. For child. The figure clutched the bundle. Ist soft. No advance. No flight. Evan eased back farther. Knife sheathed, deliberate, safe. He gestured the shelter, touched his chest. Evan! You! Silence stretched. Wind moaned through pines. The figure tilted head. Clicked. Throat sounds. Alien. Child hurt? Evan mimed limp. Pointed ravine. It clutched tighter. Backed a step. Evan nodded. No push. He dropped a spare cloth bundle at his feet. More. Tomorrow. Turned. Slow. Walked away, rifle slung loose. Night fell hard. Evan chopped cordwood by lantern light. Axe thumped steady. 20 swings, stack even. He paused, listened. No footfalls. No clicks. Inside, he stirred stew. Colony rations plus foraged roots. Filled a bowl, set it cooling. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of small tracks in snow. Evan checked his porch traps. Rabbit, gutted it quick. Smoked strips over coals. Packed extras. Water skin. Flint striker, headed out pre-light. Prince circled the windbreak. Smaller ones tottered close. Taken, but not ransacked. Good sign. He restocked double. Added rabbit jerky. Tucked a heat pack. Chemical pads from medkit. Glow warm. Back home, he mended fence. Nails drove true. Wire taut. Midday brought clouds again. He reinforced his cabin shutters. Doms. Storm prep. Dusk patrol route hummed distant. Evan ignored it, returned to the tree line. Knife ready. Rustle sharper this time. The figure emerged faster, grabbed cloth first, smoothed it over shoulder, then food. Hesitated. Looked his way. Evan stood. Hands visible. Eat. Pigeon again. Warm. It clicked low. Tore jerky. Chewed cautious. Pale hand reached for water skin. A whimper echoed. Ravine depths. Child voice, thin. The figure spun. Dropped low. Evan froze. Watched it slip back. Carry load careful. Night 2. He lay awake, listened to wind. Thought of tracks, small ones weakening. Morning 3. Evan scouted wider. Found blood flecks on thorns. Not animal. Torn hide scrap nearby. He cleaned his medkit. Packed bandages. Antiseptic wipes. Neutral smell. Storm broke noon. Rain lashed horizontal. Evan hunkered cabin side. Fixed a leak. Bailed runoff. Cleared by dusk. He trekked out. Windbreak stood firm. His build held. Restocked triple. Added medkit basics. Etched another notch on the tree. Shadow waited this time. Half hidden. Watched him work. Closer than before. Evan nodded. Backed off. Storm bad. Come. It clicked sharp. No. Fair. He left. Knife down. Patrol engines whined closer that night. Marshal Rusk's sweep. Evan strung extra bells on his perimeter. Jingled warning. Dawn 4. Prince multiplied. Child ones dragged now. Evan followed quiet. Ravine edge. Peered down. Pale form huddled under overhang. Adult cradled small one. Child shivered. Thin limbs clutched cloth tight. Evan gripped rock. No approach. Backed away. He built a proper cache that day. Dug pit. Lined with hides. Buried food deep. Marked subtle. Added heat packs. Extra cloth. Dusk. Figure boulder. Emerged full. Tall. 7 feet cloaked. Mottled skin shifted hues. Camo perfect. She. For curves said female. Inspected cache. Took half. Evan stepped from trees. Knife sheathed already. Enough, she startled. Hands up. Defensive stance fluid. Balanced. He palms out. Evan. Chest tap. Help, child. She clicked rapid. Eyed his rifle. Slung. Safe. Key, she rasped. First word. Trade rough. Pointed ravine. Evan nodded. Kai hurt. She touched ribs. Mimicked cough. Weak. Inside. He pointed cabin ridge. Warm. Safe. She hissed. Backed. Tomorrow. He dropped final pack. Turned. She snatched it. Unwrapped fast. Heat pack glowed. Pressed a child off-screen whimper eased. Evan smiled faint. Progress. Storm 2 hit brutal. Hail pelted. Evan patched windbreak mid-rain. Reinforced alone. She watched from ledge. Silent thanks in stance. Cleared dawn 5. Patrol buzzed ridge. Evan waved them off casual. Tracks led closer. Child print steadier. He prepped stew bowl. Left cooled at windbreak. Dusk. She arrived. Key tottered behind. Small furred patches. Eyes huge. Wrapped in his cloth. Key sniffed stew. Grabbed handful. Evan emerged slow. Key froze. She shielded instant. Mother fierce. He knelt. Far. Food good? Key chirped. 8 more. She watched. Tension eased shoulders. Name? He pointed her. Silen. Click softened. Evan. Nod. Engines whined. Patrol near. Ellen tensed, grabbed key. Evan stood. Safe. Mine. She eyed him. Calculated. Key tugged her leg. Pointed Evan. Trust spark. Night fell. Evan strung bells ridgeward. Threats loomed. Pale hand reached for the food, then froze when Evan said one word it recognizes. Family. Evan knelt by the windbreak, fingers brushing fresh snow from a small, crumpled form. Key lay there, bird patches matted with frost, chest heaving in shallow rasps. The child's huge eyes flickered half open, then shut. Infected cut wept pus along one thin leg. He scooped Key up, light as a toolkit, carried the child toward the cabin, boots crunching packed snow. Wind howled behind, but the bundle stayed limp against his chest. Inside, Evan kicked the door shut, laid Key on the table, cleared space with one sweep. Fire crackled in the stove. He filled the kettle from the rain barrel, set it to boil, grabbed his med kit, scalpel, forceps, clean gauze, herbs from the shelf, antiseptic willow bark and feverfew, dried last harvest. Water steamed. He poured sterilized tools in the hiss of heat, ground herbs into paste with mortar quick, cooled a cloth under pump water, wiped the wound clean. Pus drained yellow. Key whimpered, tiny claws flexing. Evan sliced dead flesh precise. Applied paste, wrapped tight with gauze, secured with tape. Child's breathing eased already, color returning to pale skin. Door exploded inward. Shard blade flashed. Silent lunged, eyes wild, blade arcing high over Evan's head. Crest feathers flared. Hiss, ripping the air. Evan froze. Open palms up, Key safe. He stepped back slow, grabbed the bandage roll from the table, held it out. Foreleg. She halted mid-swing. Blade trembled inches from his throat. Gazed past him to the table. Key stirred, eyes cracking open. Elaine lowered the weapon. Claws snatched the bandages. Knelt by Key, unwrapped Evan's work. Inspected. Replaced with her own twists, precise. Evan moved to the wall, unslung his rifle, opened the lockbox with a click. Stowed it inside. Snapped the latch. Turned, palms out again. No weapons, inside. She rose, blade still gripped, but low. Eyed the box. Eyed him. Why? Key needs warm. Food. Trust. He pointed the table. Sit. Key chirped weak, grabbed Evan's sleeve with tiny paw, tugged, huge eyes locked on his. Elaine's blade dropped to her side. She sheathed it with a snap. Evan. Voice rough, click softening. Sat by Key, stroked the child's head. He nodded. Pulled stew from the warmer, rabbit and roots, thickened safe. Spooned a bowl. Set it near. Eat. Key snatched the spoon first. Gulped, noisy. Len watched Evan. Tension uncoiled in her shoulders. Engines whined outside. Patrol skimmers. Low over the ridge. Marshal Rusk's voice barked through comms. Hail! Tracks up your draw. Unknowns. Lockdown. Evan stepped to the window, waved casual. All clear, Marshal. Just critters. Rusk's skimmer hovered. Spotlight swept the tree line. Critters don't leave biped prints. We're sweeping. Len tensed. Gathered Key close. Blade hand twitched. Evan turned. Palms up. Safe. Mine. Pointed ridge. They go. Rusk grunted over comms. Skimmer banked away. Dusk fell heavy. Key finished stew. Burped, soft, crawled from Silen's lap. Tottered to Evan. Hugged his leg. Len froze. Watched. Evan knelt. Ruffled Key's head fur gentle. Good eat. Storm 2 hit brutal that night. Hail pelted the roof like shard fire. Evan pulled on coat. Grabbed hammer and braces. Stepped into the gale. Windbreak sagged. Poles cracked. He drove stakes deep, lashed new lines. Hail stung his neck, but he worked methodic. Fixed. From the ledge, Elaine watched. Silent. Stance shifted, shoulders eased. Dawn cleared. Patrol buzzed closer. Evan strung bells along the ridge trail, warning chimes for threats. Tracks led nearer now. Child prints steadier, paired with adult claws. He prepped another stew bowl, left it cooled at the windbreak. Dusk came. Len arrived first. Key tottered behind, wrapped in his spare cloth. Key sniffed stew. Grabbed handfuls, stuffed cheeks. Evan emerged slow from the cabin. Key froze. Ellen shielded instant, crest flaring fierce. He knelt far back. Palms visible. Food good? He chirped. 8 more. Silen's eyes narrowed. Watched his hands. Name. He pointed her. Silen. Click softened. Evan.
He nodded. Engines whined again.
Patrol near. Silen tensed. Grabbed key. Evan stood. Safe. Mine. She calculated. Key tugged her leg. Pointed Evan. Trust sparked in those huge eyes. Night deepened. Evan checked the bells. Threats loomed. Rusk's sweeps tightened. Rumors of Xeno sightings rippled colony nets. Pale hand reached for the new heat pack at the windbreak. Froze. Evan spoke one word. Family. Silene's crest flattened. She snatched the pack. Pressed it to Key's ribs. Coughed mimic. Weak still. Family? He nodded. Locked eyes. Days blurred into routine. Evan scouted ravine traps. Caught conies clean. Skinned. Stewed. Left bowls out. Kay grew bolder. Tottered to the door. Evan offered dried fruit. Child snatched. Chirped thanks. Silen lingered longer. Tested the windbreak. Nodded approval. Patrol closed in. Rusk's voice crackled daily. Hail. Your ridge pings bioscans. Off-world SIGs. Stand by for search. Evan waved them off. False reads. Wind ghosts. One eve. Hail slackened. Evan patched the coop. Chicks cheeped inside. Footsteps crunched. Silen stood open. Key clutched her leg. Rusk comes. Dawn. Evan straightened. How no? Skimmer's circle nest.
She clicked rapid. Eyed his rifle box.
Fight. No. He fetched tools. Hide. Dug pit under cabin floor, lined soft with hides. Here. Warm. Key crawled in first. Snuggled. Silen hesitated. Entered. Evan slid boards over. Rusk's boots thumped porch at first light. Banged door. Hail! Open up! Full sweep. Evan unchained. Coffee pot steaming. Marshal. Brew. Rusk shoved in. Hard eyes scanned. Rifle ready. 2 deputies flanked. Tracks end here. Bio hits off charts. Where? Evan poured mugs. Windbreak. Fox analogs. Carried off prey. Rusk sniffed. Paced. Scanned corners. Bull. Show me outside. They trudged ridge. Evan pointed scuffs. See? Claws. Rusk grunted. Comms buzzed. Negative bio in cabin. Ridge cold. Pull back. Affirm. Rusk holstered. Eyed Evan sharp.
You're clean, Hale. Too clean.
Watch your back. Skimmers lifted. Dust settled. Evan returned. Lifted boards. Key tumbled out, giggling. Silen emerged wary. Gone? He knelt. Safe. Key grabbed his sleeve again, pulled toward the fire. Silen watched. Blade stayed sheathed. You... Fix, Evan shrugged. Stirred pot. Steady choices. Weeks turned. Key chased chicks. Fell. Evan bandaged knee. Silen boiled water beside him now. Rusk pinged net. Xeno confirmed. Quarantine ridge. Engines mast. Silen paced. Must go. Evan blocked door. Palms open. Stay. Fight together. She hissed. Crest Silen's crest flared red. She gripped her blade hilt. Humans hunt. Always. Evan stood firm in the doorway. Engines droned closer outside. Not me. We map escapes first. She froze. Key clutched her leg. Eyes wide. Silen scooped the child. Nodded once. Evan grabbed his pack, led them into the woods. He slashed bark with his knife. Carved a river symbol, 3 wavy lines. At the first fork. Water here, drink safe. Silen scanned treetops. Her eyes glowed faint in shadow. Key pointed. Bird. Evan marked a spiral for game trails. Hoof prints dotted mud. Deer analogs. Food path. He etched an arrow pointing safe ridge routes, away from patrol skimmers. They looped back by dusk. Silen whispered. Rusk circles east, 2 units. Evan nodded. Your eyes save us. He pulled salt bricks and cloth bolts from storage, offered them. Trade. Scout predators at night. Her crest dipped blue. Curious. She took the salt. Tasted it. Sharp. Good. Key snatched cloth. Wrapped herself like a cape. That night, Silen slipped out. Returned at dawn. Pack hunters flanked south. 3. Big fangs. Evan reinforced the door with crossbeams. Thanks. We adjust traps. Days blurred. Rusk's patrols buzzed ridges. Bioscanners whined. Evan taught key knocks. 3 quick raps on wood. Safe signal. Means all clear. Key mimicked. Tap, tap, tap. Giggled. Salen watched from the nook. Blade loose now. Evan hauled logs. Sawed them into a second sleeping platform. High against the cabin wall.
Your space. Separate.
Scielen tilted head. Crest neutral gray. Why? Trust starts small. He carved a latch. Simple wood toggle. You control it. Open from inside. Always. Key climbed the new nook, tested the blanket ladder. Evan knocked 3 times below. Key rapped back. Sielen's shoulders eased. Sielen bolted upright, grabbed Key, bolted for the door. Evan knocked 3 sharp times. Wait. She halted. Crest flared. Listened. No knocks from Key's nook. Panic gripped her. She lunged anyway. Key's tiny fist rapped back. Tap, tap, tap. Silen stopped. Blade dropped to her side. She climbed to Key, held the child tight. Evan stirred the fire low, said nothing. Weeks ground on. Rusk's net tightened. Xeno sighted, ridge lockdown. Hale Homestead flagged. Evan heard the ping on his comm. He blocked the door again. They come heavy. Stay. Sielen boiled roots beside him. Key chased chicks outside. Fell. Scraped knee. Evan bandaged it clean. Key hugged his leg. Silen watched. You fix. Steady. Engines massed at dawn. Skimmers landed hard. Rusk's voice boomed. Hail. Full sweep. Open. Evan unchained. Poured coffee. Marshal. Brew. Rusk stormed in. Rifle swept corners. 4 deputies fanned out. Bioscanners beeped. Tracks fresh. Biospikes. Where's the Xeno? Evan pointed stew pot. Fox analogs again. Dragged prey to windbreak. Rusk sniffed air. Paced the nook. Toggle latch caught his eye. He yanked it. Empty. Clever. But we tear this place. Deputies stomped floorboards. Scanned walls. Key's hidden pit stayed silent under fresh hides. Rusk, come it out. Negative bio. Cold trails. Pole ridges. Skimmers lifted. Dust choked the yard. Evan lifted hides. Key tumbled free, laughing. Sielen emerged slow. Gone. Gone. Evan knelt. Key grabbed his sleeve. Pulled him to the fire. Silen sheathed her blade full. Watched Key snuggle Evan's knee. Evan etched more maps that afternoon. Extended safe routes to a cave overlook. Silen scouted ahead. Returned with predator fangs. Traded for more salt. Pack avoided, she said. Crest stayed blue. Key knocked 3 times on the table. Evan rapped back. They played it like a game. Nights cooled. Evan sealed the second nook tighter. Added a glow lamp toggle. Your light. Silen tested the latch. Clicked it shut from inside. Waited. Evan chopped wood outside. No rush. Minutes passed. Latch clicked open. Silen descended. Crest soft violet. Stay. Key clapped. Evan shrugged. Steady choices. Rusk pinged net next day. Xeno mother-child pair. Priority quarantine. Hail zone hot. Patrols doubled. Biodrones hummed. Treetops. Evan blocked the door. We fight together? Silen gripped salt brick. Nodded. Together. Key knocked 3 times. All wrapped back. Evan mapped a final route. Deep cave network. Symbols glowed fresh. Silen scouted night paths, eyes piercing dark. 1 dusk. Howls closed in. Pack hunters flanked the cabin. Fangs gleamed. Silen hissed. Blade out.
Too many. Evan grabbed rifle.
Your eyes. My shots. She pointed shadows. Left flank. 4. Evan fired precise. Dropped lead hunter. Pack scattered. Key hid in the pit. 3 knocks echoed muffled. Silen bandaged Evan's graze. Crest touched his shoulder. Steady. Dawn brought Rusk's heaviest push. Skimmers ringed the ridge. Surrender Xenos. Hail. Stand down. Evan stood porch. Palms open. No Xenos here. Just Homestead. Rusk advanced. Rifle up. Scans lie. Deputies breach. Silen whispered from nook. Go? Evan knocked 3 times soft. Key rapped back. Deputies kicked door. Bioscanners screamed false positives from Salt and Hides. Rusk snarled. Tear it apart. Evan poured last coffee. Marshal. Tracks lead cave north. Check there. Rusk paused. Eyed the calm. Playing hero? Practical. Evan pointed maps on wall. Innocent trails. Rusk grunted. Calmed. Pivot north caves. Hail clean. For now. Skimmers thundered away. Evan lifted pitboards. Key spilled out. Tackled his legs. Silen descended nook. Latched it open behind. She tested latch once more. Clicked shut. Opened wide. Stayed down. Key pulled them both to fire. Silen sat close. Blade sheathed permanent. Evan stirred pot. Family now? Her crest bloomed violet full. Family. Outside, drones faded. Ridge quieted. Safe routes waited if needed. But they stayed. Steady. Evan's boot heel ground the last patrol marker into mud. Rusk's deputies had pushed closer this time. Fresher glow paint, still tacky under his glove. He smeared wet earth over the residue, then pine needles for good measure. The trail vanished. He jogged back through the tree line, rifle slung low. Dawn light filtered gold through the canopy. No time for tracks. Rusk's skimmers hummed distant, closing the ridge. Cabin door creaked open. Silen stood inside, crest flat against her scaled neck. Key clung to her leg, eyes wide, tiny claws clicking on wood. Hide. Now. Evan pointed to the root cellar hatch under the table. Rusk comes. Silen scooped Kai. Her blade stayed sheathed at her belt. No twitch toward it. Progress. She nodded once. Sharp. Dropped into the dark pit. Evan dragged the hatch shut. He fetched the ash bucket from the hearth, wet from last night's scrub, and shoveled it over the seams, pine boughs next, layered thick. He stomped them flat. Floorboards locked seamless. No scent, no outline. Salt hides on walls would jam basic scanners. Hoofbeats, no skimmer treads, rumbled the porch. Evan straightened his collar, poured fresh coffee into 3 mugs. One for show. Knock hammered the door.
Hale, open up.
Evan swung it wide. Marshal Rusk filled the frame, rifle braced, deputies fanned behind. Scanner drone hovered at his shoulder, red eye sweeping. Morning, Marshal. Evan stepped aside. Coffee? Rusk's jaw tightened. Cut the host. Tracks end here. Your ridge. His gaze drilled past Evan, into shadows. Xenos, we know. Evan sipped his mug. Steam curled. Tracks. Plenty wild out there. Bears. Varmints. Scans pinged biosigns, twice now. Rusk shouldered forward. Drone word, dipping low. Evan blocked the threshold, calm. False leads north caves. I laid 'em last week. Salt blocks for bait. Pulls readings. One deputy snorted. He's stalling. Rusk waved him quiet. Eyed the cabin, hide-draped walls. Pot simmered on fire. Rabbit stew. Step aside, Hale. Charter search. No warrant. Evan set his mug down, pulled the colony charter print from wall peg, creased, thumbed daily. Article 7. Homestead inviolate sans magistrate sign. Your skimmers logged the ridge. No judge stamp. Rusk's scanner drone buzzed closer. Deputy shifted, hand on stun prod. Practical law, Marshal. Evan tapped the paper. You breach. ICOM Central. Your badge. Deputies glanced. Rusk's crest, no human scar, twitched on his cheek. He chewed it. Playing lawyer now? Playing colonist? Evan pointed north window. See those prints? Fresh. Led straight to caves. Check 'em. Save your fuel. Rusk followed the gesture. Mud boot marks. Evan's work. Stamped deliberate an hour back. Trailed porch edge, veering into brush. False but convincing. Drone swept the hides. Static crackled. No ping. Rusk grunted. 1 hour, Hale. Then we circle back. With warrant. Copy. Evan nodded. Door shut firm behind them. Treads faded. Evan exhaled. Lifted floorboards quiet. Silen emerged first, key tumbling after. Child raced forward, tackled Evan's knee. Claws pricked pants. Harmless. Silen scanned the door, crest half raised. Tested the latch herself. Click. Solid. She met his eyes. You. Face. For us. Family sticks. Evan ruffled Key's head frill. Kid chirped, violet blooming, but skimmers didn't fade full. Evan caught the whine. hovering ridgetop. Rusk doubled back. He knocked 3 soft on the table. Silent yanked key down. Hatch sealed. Ash undisturbed. Porch thundered again. Door rattled. No knock. Hale! Open, or we breach! Evan cracked it. Rusk shoved scanner pad forward. Magistrate stamped. Central fast-tracked. Step out. 2 deputies gripped doorframe. Third hauled breaching ram. Evan palms up.
Charter!
Overruled. Rusk barked. Xeno threat. Deputies, in! They surged. Drone zipped past. Red-eye sweeping hearth. Hides. Table. Ping. High-pitched scream from the scanner. Drone locked on the floor. Rusk whirled. Biohit. Under there. Deputies yanked table. Ash scattered. Pine shifted. Evan stepped forward. Voice steel. That's my root cellar, full of salted hides and my damn breakfast roots. Rusk's rifle snapped up. Drone dove toward the hatch. T's muffled whimper echoed faint below. Cielan's claws scraped stone. Deputies pried boards. Ash flew. 1 board lifted. Evan jammed his boot down. Locked it. Marshal, you scam my pantry. You contaminate my stores. Colony fine. 500 credits. Per man. Rusk froze. What? Charter? Article 12?
Food security breach!
Evan recited flat. You tear my cellar, winter kills me. Pay up or back off. Deputies hesitated. Led one glanced. He's right, boss. Logs say pantry scans false positive heavy. Drone pinged again. Weaker. Hides jammed it proper. Rusk snarled. Face red. Lies. Test it. Evan knelt slow. Hands visible. Scooped ash sample. Salt crystals. Biomimic, your drone's cheap colony issue. Rusk snatched the ash. Crushed it. Scanner word. Pinged neutral. He glared. Fortunate Hale. Practical. Evan rose. Board stayed shut. Rusk waved deputies out. This ain't over. Xenos hit patrols. You harbor. No Xenos. Evan shut door. Latched. Treads retreated. For real this time. Evan lifted hatch. Key spilled up. Trembling. Cielan pulled him close. Her crest touched Evan's arm. Violet full. Steady. You turn. Again. Her voice soft. Accent thick. Why human help? Evan stirred stew. Ladle bowls. Steady choices. Builds trust. Key tugged his sleeve. Pointed blade on Cielan's hip. Sheathed. Child mimed toss. Into fire. Cielan laughed low. First time. Unbuckled it. Set on mantle. Permanent. Outside ridge quieted. Drones gone. Evan checked windows. Clear routes south waited. Escape if Rusk pushed harder, but Key dragged Mats close. Cielan sat beside. Bowel in claws. They ate.
Family held.
Evan wiped his graze from yesterday's hunt. Cielan's bandage tight. Her eyes watched his hands. Methodical. Calm. Hoof. No. Skimmer hum returned. Faint. Closer. Rusk's voice boomed valley-wide. Hale. Patrol markers wiped. Your work? Evan stood. Rifle ready. Cielan tensed. Blade hand twitched. Stopped. Tracks north, Marshal. Evan yelled back. Check caves! Laughter barked from deputies. Treads veered. Key chirped victory. Crest bloomed. Cielan leaned shoulder to Evan's. Steady human. Evan nodded. Steady all. But drone whine spiked. 1 straggler circled cabin tight. Scanner pinged hatch again. Stronger. Evan blocked it with his body. Go away, Marshal. 1 sentence seals it. Your scanner's pulling my salted pork again. Ping cut. Drone veered off. Door rattled anyway. Rusk's fist. Open up, Hale. Final warn. Evan's grip tightened on charter print. 1 more stand. For them. Claws dug into Evan's shoulder. A live form yanked him sideways, behind the rain barrel. He hit the mud knees first. His rifle clattered beside him. Evan twisted. Blue-skinned alien crouched low. Eyes wide on the tree line. Female. Mottled patterns shifted on her arms like oil on water. She pressed a clawed finger to her lipless mouth. Pack howls split the night. Shadows boiled from the brush. 6 razorbacks, spines quivering. They charged the cabin's east wall. Evan snatched his rifle. The alien shoved him deeper into cover. No words. Her gaze flicked to the door, then back. First Razorback leaped, claws raked the logs. Wood splintered. The pack piled in, slamming the wall like a battering ram. The cabin groaned. Evan leveled the rifle. The alien's hand clamped his wrist. She shook her head sharp, pointed to the side yard. Open ground, boards from his scrap pile, coils of rope by the shed. He nodded. Trap. Now. She released him. Evan bolted low, grabbed rope ends. Heart hammered steady. Razorback snarled, gouging the wall. One circled wide, sniffing his boot prints. Evan knotted rope to barrel. Stretched it taut across the yard's narrow end, dragged two boards upright, wedged them as wings, funnel shape, pointed at the woodpile gap, lantern hung on the porch hook. He sprinted, snatched it, hung it dead center in the funnel's mouth. Glare stabbed the dark. Shadows leaped huge on the logs. Pack wheeled, eyes reflected yellow. They fixated on the light. Leader lunged, straight into the funnel. Evan fired once. Crack echoed valley-wide. Bullet clipped the leader's flank. It yelped, bolted forward. Pack surged after. Driven blind, they funneled tight. Rope snagged legs. Boards toppled, pinning the rear three. Thrashes filled the air with yips and mud spray. Last Razorback broke free. Spines flared. It charged Evan solo. He dropped the rifle. Hatchet flew from his belt. One chop severed the neck. Body twitched. He kicked it into the pile. Silence dropped. Only huffs and whines from the trapped. The alien stepped from cover. Lamplight caught her fully. Tall, lean feathers tufting her shoulders. She scanned the pack, then lifted a bundle from the shadows. A small form, limp, in her arms. Evan tensed.
Child.
Tiny, sane blue skin, eyes half shut. Weak chirps escaped. She didn't clutch it to her chest. Instead, Scielen, name he guessed from her throat rumble, placed the child behind Evan, tucked against his legs. Claws brushed his calf light. Trust. Evan knelt, felt the small head against his knee, alive, cold, hungry. Easy, little one. Scilen's eyes locked his. No fear. Assessment. She dragged a Razorback corpse clear, sliced haunch free with her belt knife. Efficient strokes. Alien skill matched his. He nodded. Good meat. Stew it. She tilted her head. Mimicked. Stew. Distant drone whine cut the quiet. Patrol scanner. Marshal Rusk's sweep again. Valley patrols doubled since the unknown tracks report. Evan froze. Noise from the shot. Too loud. They'd ping this ridge in minutes. Scielen heard it too. Ears twitched tall. She scooped in trails, smeared mud over blood trails, covered tracks fast. Her child, Key, from the soft peep, clung to Evan's boot now. Tiny claws gripped leather. Inside, Evan said. Low. Pointed door. She hesitated, glanced tree line. Hiding spots called. But Key chirped protest. Scielen scooped the child. Followed him in. Cabin door shut soft. Evan barred it. Lantern glow filled the space. Fire crackled in the stove. He ladled water into pot. Chopped Razorback chunks. Methodical. Calm. Scielen watched. Set Key on the mat by the hearth. Child's eyes brightened at heat. Scilen's claws flexed. She added roots from her pouch. Bitter tubers. Frontier hardy. Their skill layered. Drone whine peaked. Circled overhead. Scanner pinged the roof. Evan stood tall. Blocked the hatch vent with his body. Go chase ghosts, Rusk. Ping cut. Drone banked away. Scielen exhaled. First sound like relief. She stirred the pot. Her turn. Hours blurred. Stew bubbled. Key nibbled broth from Evan's spoon. Color returned to the small face. Scielen bandaged a scrape on her arm. Evan's graze from hauling boards. Outside, ridge stayed quiet. No more drones. Evan checked windows. Clear sightline south. Escape if patrols closed in. But Key tugged his sleeve, pointed at Scilen's hip knife, sheathed. Child mimed toss. Into fire. Scilen laughed low. First time. Unbuckled it. Set on mantle. Permanent. They ate. Bowls passed hand to claw. Family edged into shape. Hoofbeats. No skimmer hum. Returned faint. Closer. Rusk's voice boomed. Hail. Patrol markers wiped. Your work? Evan stood. Rifle ready. Scielen tensed. Claw hand twitched to empty hip. Stopped. Tracks north, Marshal! Evan yelled. Check caves! Laughter barked from deputies. Treads veered off. Key chirped victory. Crest bloomed safe. Scielen leaned her shoulder to Evan's. Steady, human. He nodded. Steady all. Drone whine spiked again. Straggler circled tight. Scanner pinged hatch. Stronger. Evan blocked it with his chest. Go away, Marshal. One sentence seals it. Your scanner's pulling my salted pork again. Ping died. Drone veered. Door rattled. Rusk's fist pounded. Open up, Hale. Final warn. Evan gripped the charter printout on the table. Ink fresh. Homesteader writes. No search clause. One more stand. Scialen's eyes narrowed. She scooped key behind the stove. Claws flexed empty. Ready. Evan cracked the door. Rifle shadowed. Charter says no entry without warrant, Marshal. You got one? Rusk's face filled the gap. Scarred jaw clenched. Deputies flanked. Rifles loose. Unknowns in my valley, Hale. Tracks like nothing local. You hiding squatters? Evan held the printout steady. My land. My call. Pork salting. Your drone's glitching it again. Fix your gear. Rusk snorted. Eyes drilled past Evan's shoulder. Flicked to the empty mat. The knife on mantle. Heard shots earlier. Razorback? Pack hit the wall. Handled it. Deputy muttered. One shot? Lone? Rusk waved them back. Watch your markers, Hale. One whiff of alien, we burn this ridge. Skimmer treads ground away. Dust settled. Evan barred the door. Turned. Scilen emerged from shadows. Key clutched her leg. But the child reached for Evan next. Her voice came soft. Accent thick. Why human help? Evan stirred the cooling stew. Ladled fresh bowls. Steady choices. Builds trust. Key tugged his sleeve again. Pointed blade on mantle. Already tossed in thought. Scilen's laugh rumbled low. She nodded. Sat closer, but ridge scanners hummed distant. Rusk's search pushed harder. Patrols ringed tighter. Evan checked ammo, repaired the wall gouges. Methodical. Scilen sharpened her claws on whetstone. Shared tubers, her watch from tree line turned to shared guard. Key slept between them, small chest rose even. Dawn cracked, skimmer engines growled closer, multiple. Rusk broadcast valley-wide. All homesteads. Lockdown, confirmed alien signal. Cave sealed. Hale, stand down? Or Evan slung his rifle over his shoulder, grabbed the satchel with Silane's data crystal. Rusk's closing in. We walk out now. My claim, my guests. Silene scooped Key into her arms. The child whimpered, claws digging into her fur. Human bold. Raiders hunt us. Marshal blind or bought. Evan unbarred the door, stepped into dawnlight. Skimmers hummed a click-out, patrols sweeping ridges. He waved them forward. Stick close. Eyes front. They hiked the trail. Evan's boots crunched frost. Scilen matched stride. Kai's weight no burden. Ridge scanners pinged overhead. A deputy drone buzzed low. Evan raised a fist. Hail, Homestead. 3 souls outbound. Protected status demand. Drone hovered. Red light blinked. Marshal Rusk inbound. Stand down, Hale. Boundary hearing. Now. Evan kept walking. Colony fence loomed. Electrified mesh. Gate flanked by watchtowers. Scilen tensed beside him. Her tail flicked. Key buried face in her neck. Skimmers braked hard at the gate. Rusk dropped out first. Armor gleamed. Rifle leveled. Hale, lockdown means lockdown. Step aside. Evan planted feet, blocked the gate path. These 2 claim refugee status. Proof inside. He tapped satchel. Hear 'em out. Deputies fanned, rifles trained on Scilen. She set Key down gentle. Child clung to her leg. Rusk sneered. Squatting vermin. Off-world trash. Caves are sealed for a reason. Scilen stepped forward. Claws retracted. Voice steady, accent clipping edges. Not trash. Fleeing Kavath raiders. Crystal logs pursuit. She pulled shard from her pouch. Held it high.
Your marshal ignored first signal. 3 cycles back.
Raidership docked outer ring. Took colony ore. Left us marked. Rusk's jaw tightened. He snatched the crystal. Slotted into wristpad. Hollow flickered. Grainy feed of spiked hull breaching Admo. Laser scars on Scilen's hide matched timestamps. Key's weak cries echoed in audio log. Deputy whistled low. Boss. That's Kavath's signature. Slavers. Rusk pocketed crystal. Eyes narrowed at Evan. Hale. You harbored illegals. Claim forfeit. Evan crossed arms. My land cleared Razorbacks. Fixed your drone glitches. Now sponsor these two. Cabin quarantine. I interpret. Guard duty. Full scan protocols. Rusk paced. Tower spotlights swept them. Ellen shielded Key's eyes. Child peeked out. Stared at Evan's steady stance. Quarantine specs? Rusk barked. Evan rattled off. Daily med drones. Perimeter fields up. No contact beyond supply drops.
I vouch behavior, Raylen.
Sion. Skill scout ridges. Key needs heat. Food. Raiders inbound. Her eyes spot him first.
Silan nodded sharp.
Tracked Kavath 3 valleys over. Human nose misses chemtrails. Rusk grunted. Glanced at whole logs again. Provisional. 48 hours. One slip. We glassed the cabin. He keyed gate. Move in. Docks inbound. Evan led them through. Gate hummed shut. Deputies trailed to cabin ridge. Ellen carried Key up steps. Child's ears perked at door creak. Inside, Evan cleared table. Med-drone word in. Scanners humming. Ellen submitted first. Lights danced over scars. Key fidgeted but held still when Evan knelt eye level. Easy. Count as safe. Drone beeped clear. Packed samples. Lifted off. Rusk loomed in doorway. Sign says Hail Homestead. Change it. Evan grabbed plank from shed. Hammered fresh letters. Hail hold. Hung at porch center. Stepped back. Solid. Selene tilted head. Hold? Home that holds. Evan fished old key from drawer. Polished it. Crouched to key. First key. Yours. Turns lock. Guards all inside. Key's claws snatched it. Eyes wide. She tested teeth on metal. Giggled. First sound pure joy. Selene knelt too. Forehead bumped Evan's shoulder. Thanks unspoken. Rusk snorted from porch. Touching. Patrols double tonight. Raider pings off your ridge. He spun away. Skimmer roared off. Evan barred door. Checked stew pot. Ladled thirds. Key clutched key. Slurped broth. Sion tore bread. Shared tuber slice. Her find. Starchy sweet. Night fell fast. Evan patched wall sensors. Ellen oiled her claws. Key curled between. Key and paw. Small snores rose even. Evan watched fire. Steady flames. Trust stacked like logs. Dawn scanners pinged alert. Not Rusk. Evan grabbed rifle. Selene grabbed rifle. Kavath probe. Valley edge. Key woke. Key gleamed in paw. She toddled to Evan. Offered it up. Hold safe? He nodded. Locked eyes. Together, they moved as one. Rifle cracked first. Probe sparked down. Saelin's thrown stone cracked hull. Key pointed chemtrail. Second probe incoming. Rusk's voice crackled calm. Hail! Report! Evan keyed response. Raiders probed. We downed 2. Their logs matched Saelin's crystal. Silence. Then, holding pattern. Stand by. Sion grinned fangs. Human steady. Family now? Evan ruffled Key's head fur. Steady choices. Builds it. Patrol lights ringed closer, but drone feed shifted. Quarantine expanded. Supplies dropped heavy. Evan hung extra hammock. Key claimed it. Key on cord round neck. Weeks blurred. Sion scouted with him. Her nose caught razorback packs early. His traps fed 3. Key grew. Chased glowbugs. Named tools. Rusk visited once. Dropped ore assay. Raiders hit depot. Your tip saved it. Nodded at Key. Kids clear. Evan leaned on porch. New sign weathered in. Cabin side works. Permanent. Rusk eyed Selene sharpening beside. Paperwork inbound. Sponsor holds. Key tugged Evan's leg. Held Key high. Home! Selene laughed. Pulled Evan into side hug. Claws light. Evan bet right. Future locked in. But Ridge scanner screamed. Kavath signature. Mothership prop. Rusk broadcast. All hands. Slaver assault vector. Evan chambered round. Selene bared claws. Key gripped Key like weapon. They stood porch. Hold ready.